Namaste.
Welcome back, Stellar Stargazers, and a warm cosmic hello to our new listeners. I'm Sophie.
And I'm Heather, and you're tuning into the Stellar Soulcast,
where we decode the cosmos one episode at a time. So, in our last episode, we briefly went over the importance of modalities and elements in the zodiac chart.
But in today's episode, we're going to explore an introductory breakdown of the planets. Not the way you learn the planets in the solar system in school or in the university, but the ones in your birth chart that express you.
Yes. And if you're new to astrology, you might be thinking, why do planets matter in astrology? And to help answer your questions and your curiosity, let's give a brief explanation. So, let me start off by stating that planets represent energies or characteristics in your cosmic story, and they act like archetypes with different jobs and roles.
Exactly. Also in astrology, it's important to note that planets aren't just celestial bodies with the familiar names as we know them in astronomy, but in astrology, they each represent different aspects of who we are.
Yes, that's so true. But if you do have a basic understanding of our solar system from what you learned in astronomy, you'll find it a bit easier to remember that associations and qualities tied to each planet as we discuss them throughout this episode.
Yes, that is so true. Now, we just want to remind you all that this episode is not going to be a full deep dive into how you read your natal chart. But if you did pull up your chart on sources like the app of Time Passage that we spoke about before, or astro.com, or anywhere else, you've probably noticed that it's full of several little symbols, and those little symbols represent the planets.
Yes. It's super important to remember that planets are always moving. So when you see a planet sitting in a zodiac sign on your chart, it means at the time of your birth, the planet had moved into or was transiting that sign. For example, my sun sign is Leo, and that means when I was born, the sun was in the part of the sky that was called Leo. And the sun usually enters Leo around July 21st and stays there until about August 22nd. And my birthday, August 2nd, falls right in the middle of that Leo season.
Absolutely. Love that example, Sophie. What you expect from a fellow fire sign. What up? Now, we just want to say we know all this may seem like a lot, but we promise you that after this episode, you'll have a much better grasp on understanding the traits of each planet.
Thanks, Heather. And yes, I 100% agree. We promise you that you will have a better understanding after today. And hopefully you've listened to our previous episodes on zodiac signs. And if you did, you'll start making even more connections, such as what it means to have each planet in what zodiac sign.
Yes, absolutely. And remember that astrology can be a tool to guide you through life, to understand yourself a bit more, and to understand the world around you. So on that note, we would like to share a quick little analogy for you where you can think of your birth chart kind of like a movie. The planets are the people or actors. The signs are how those actors actually act. And the houses are where the action takes place on the specific location of the set.
Mm-hmm. We would like to briefly introduce the core planetary crew with the addition of Chiron. So we're going to start off with Sun, the sun planet.
Hey, Sophie's planet.
Yeah, it's my planet, Leo. It rules Leo. It represents your identity, your ego, and essence. The nickname for Sun is the CEO of your chart.
Bam.
Bam, bam, bam. So the second planet we'll talk about is the moon, and it rules Cancer. It's connected to your emotions, your intuitions, and your emotional needs. It's your inner child. Now, Mercury. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo, and it governs communication, thinking, and information processing. A common nickname for Mercury is the messenger. All right. Venus. It rules Taurus and Libra, and it represents love, beauty, values, and pleasures. A nickname for Venus, the lover and the artist. Now, Mars. Mars rules Aries and traditionally Scorpio in ancient astrology. It drives ambition, action, passion, and courage, and is nicknamed the warrior.
Yes. And Jupiter, which rules Sagittarius, and traditionally Pisces, symbolizes growth, luck, wisdom, and expansion. A fun nickname you can think for Jupiter is the guru. And then following Jupiter, we have Saturn, which rules Capricorn. And traditionally, it had ruled Aquarius. So connected to that is discipline, lessons, boundaries, and structure. And a fun nickname is the teacher or the boss.
Nice. So moving forward, we have Uranus, which rules Aquarius. With Uranus, it's commonly known to bring innovation, change, rebellion, and breakthroughs. Nickname for Uranus, the wild card. Ooh. Moving along, we have Neptune, which rules Pisces. It represents dreams, intuition, creativity, spirituality, and lessons. Nickname for Neptune, the mystic. And we have Pluto, which rules Scorpio. It governs transformation, power, rebirth, and hidden forces, the unknown. Often nicknamed the shadow worker.
I love it. And we just wanted to throw Chiron in there. Chiron doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily assigned to a zodiac sign, but it's strongly linked to both Virgo and Sagittarius energy. Chiron represents your deepest wounds and your ability to heal yourself and others. A common nickname or fun nickname for Chiron is the wounded healer. So this was just a very simple and brief introduction of each planet and their zodiac sign or signs which they rule. If you notice, a few of them rule more than one sign. If you're craving more, don't worry. In our upcoming episodes, each planetary body will be featured in their own individual episode. So stay tuned for more.
Yes, and I can't wait to give each planet their stage. But first, it's important to know that in astrology, we group planets based on how they influence us. For those who have more intermediate understanding of astrology, you may have realized that Heather and I introduced the planets to you just now in their groupings. It's important to know that planets influence us from our personal daily lives to big collective changes across generations. And here's some examples, a breakdown for you. With the personal planets, they include the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, okay? The 5 planets just mentioned are the majority that make up your big 6. These planets shape your day-to-day personality, emotions, communication styles, and what drives you. They're called personal because they describe the parts of you that are easiest to see and feel in your everyday life. Now, we must note that the Sun and the Moon are often called luminaries because they're a major source of light within the sky.
And moving on from them is the social planets, which consist of Jupiter and Saturn. So these planets influence your growth, life lessons, and maturity. Jupiter is often associated with how you expand your life, where Saturn is associated with where you face challenges and responsibility inwardly. What's fun actually about those two is that they're opposing in some ways. The outward expansion with the inward.
Yes.
Which I find very fun about them, considering social planets.
Right.
On the duality in a way. But anyway, it's also important to note that they move slower than personal planets, so they tend to shape your longer term goals and evolution opposed to perhaps your daily goals.
So moving on, we have our outer planets, which include Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. These planets move very slow, and they affect entire generations, not just individuals. That's why maybe people that you know within your friend group, or people maybe in your grade or whatever, that have the same outer planets as you, is because within a generation, you'll see that these placements fall within the same signs. They also represent large themes such as rebellion, often associated with Uranus, dreams and illusions, which are associated with Neptune, and transformations, which is associated with Pluto. And just kind of a side note, we had a lot of outer planets moving into different signs this year, and that's why we see a lot of changes happening on a societal level. Their influence show up in deep, long-term ways, and often in how you experience major shifts in your life and society.
Yeah, it's crazy, those influences.
Yeah.
Both beautiful and scary.
Mm-hmm.
But, you're probably thinking, why does this matter when reading a chart? So it's just important to note that the personal planets help explain who you are on a daily basis. The social planets reveal how you grow and mature over time. And the outer planets connect you to the bigger picture, like the era you were born in, and into the collective challenges or gifts your generation shares. So understanding these groupings make it way easier to piece together someone's astrological story, so to say, when you look up your birth chart. And it will all make more sense in time, we promise. I know for those that are new, it's probably a little overwhelming, but through time, it's all going to make so much sense.
Yes. All right, Stargazers, we are about to wrap up this planetary episode, but before we do so, we want to encourage you with some soul homework. In the last episode, we encourage you to take some time and reflect and really think about how you initiate change, how you maintain consistency or adapt to change, those modalities, right? But now we hope that these reflections were soul-searching and encouraging as we move along.
And for this time, we are going to encourage another similar reflection as we did with the modalities, but instead, we want you to take some time and reflect on how you experience love and beauty, relationships, both intimately and platonically. How do you communicate with others? Think to yourself, how do you handle conflict? Are you a decisive person or are you an indecisive person? Are you a problem solver, the questioner, or are you both? Essentially, just take some time, sit down, bring out that journal, and just really reflect on how you believe you interact with not just your internal self, but the external world around you.
Yes. And again, like we say in all of our episodes, we want to remind you guys that these reflections will be revisited during the cosmic journey that we'll have together. And hopefully you have your natal chart and you've begin to make a little more sense of what you're looking at when it comes to your chart. And I know we haven't fully gone through the chart together. We've just been talking about some aspects, but step by step, you're decoding the elements and all the things that make up your chart.
Yes. And on that note, we just want to say we sincerely hope you enjoyed this introductory episode on planets and what they symbolize and represent in astrology. Whether you're new to astrology or starting your journey by riding this cosmic wave with us, we hope you learned something new and fun today.
Yes. And in our next episodes, we are going to be doing a fun twist where we go into the symbols and glyphs of the signs.
Yes.
And that's going to be fun, more like history and some fun facts. It also will help with the associations with the zodiac signs. And maybe if you want to look up at the night sky and you have a nice telescope, you're able to see some of the constellations that have made their way and helped build the symbols that we know today. But okay, don't forget to hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening to this platform, and make sure that you check in with us every Wednesday and Saturday for our uploads.
Yes, and do not forget to follow us on our socials.
Yeah.
We are so excited for you to just journey with us.
Yeah. We want to hear your thoughts about our podcast so far. And if you have any questions regarding anything that you've learned or any topics that you would like us to talk about in future episodes, please drop a comment, message us on our socials, or send us an email. We are so open to hearing from you guys, and we actually really do hope that we get some feedback, because we love putting out these episodes for you. We love engaging with you guys and helping you guys see just how helpful and insightful astrology can be to your life. You know, I can't express enough how astrology has really helped me understand myself, and I can't imagine not sharing that gift with you guys.
Yes, you know, I absolutely agree with that, Sophie, because on this journey, I know that we said in the first episode, I didn't know so much that I had gone into it. When I really started studying it, it's really crazy. It's really fascinating of how it opens up a world of understanding, not just for yourself or for others.
Right.
So I just love the way that you put that, because it's just an extraordinary thing.
Yeah.
Of just putting pieces together. So, you know, like Sophie said, we love hearing from all of you. And with that, we want to remind all of you to keep reaching for the stars and trusting the vibes. Until next time, Stargazers.